Hi, I'm Jason Gorber here in Kingston, Ontario, and we're here to talk about Relax. I'm from the future. So, I saw a couple films here in Kingston that sort of broadly fall under the sci-fi spectrum, as it were. Viking was the film that I really thoroughly enjoyed, the one that I missed from TIFF, and this is one that I missed when I played Fantasia and After Dark. And again, one of the great things about festivals like this is that I get a chance to actually catch up on this stuff. Luke Higgison has took a short and expanded it into this really, really lovely, funny, rich, warm film about a dude that comes from the future and is, trying to make sense of it all. I'm a big fan of goofy time travel movies, and this is absolutely one that's done with a lot of smarts and a lot of guile. Tremendous performances. I mean, Rhys Darby is great at the best of times. Real amazing actor. We love him in stuff like Fly the Conchords and all the stuff that he's done with all his Kiwi compatriots. But it's Gabrielle Graham, actually, who has probably the most thankless role in some ways. She absolutely could have come across as more of a frustrating character than anything, but she's so charismatic on screen, and even when she's sort of vacillating morally between all the stuff that she's doing, she absolutely nails it. So thanks to some incredibly great performances and a very smart script, this is a film well worth your time. It's clear. Look, I love Looper so very much. Another time travel movie, obviously. And my favorite scene in Looper is when they're sitting in a cafe and bong, as look, it's like Glass Onion. We got the bongs going on. In Looper, there's this conversation that they actually have where they're like, okay, so how does all this work? Joseph Gordon-Levitt sitting there with Bruce Willis. And the conversation is like we don't have time for that. It would involve diagrams with straws. I mean, I don't have the exact line of dialogue, but you understand what I'm saying. In other words, time travel movies often spend so much time in actually articulating how the mechanics work, the sort of Christopher Nolan-y diving into the machinations of it all to show that, you've not just solved the equation, but you're showing all your work for it. And what I love about this film, there's actually a scene that takes place in a similar cafe that basically makes a similar dismissal. All we need to know is that the filmmakers, the scriptwriters, have taken this stuff into consideration, that they've done the heavy lifting, and then we can be confident that the film is at least coherent, narratively coherent, in the sense that it's sort of it sets a series of rules for the world and follows them. This is all going to be preposterous the best time, but we don't need to spend and waste our time on all these different machinations when we're really worried about is how are the characters dealing with it. So one of my favorite films, we're here to celebrate Canadian cinema, one of my favorite films of all time is Last Night, where it's like the world's ending. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know why it's ending or how it's ending. You just know the world is ending. You can't do anything about it. How do you live your life? And in a funny, sort of cosmic way, this film is like, time travel's a thing. You got to get some stuff done. How are you going to navigate all this? How are you going to behave? How is everything sort of going to play out in a way that actually sort of makes sense to you and actually allows you the opportunity to actually make things right. And it only works if you care about the characters. It only works if you're actually there to be invested in the story, not in spending your time during the movie thinking, well, that doesn't make sense, or, well, what if we did this and what if we did that, and sort of it becoming, for lack of a better word, an exercise of, temporal mechanics as opposed to narrative coherence and character beats. In other words, it's a film that uses an extraordinary event to tell a very human story. And that's what I genuinely love about this film. It is done with a great deal of wit, a great deal of levity, but also done with this real sort of confidence that the filmmaking, that those involved are invested in telling the story, that they are taking the silly seriously. And I think that's a fundamental basis. That, we're in a larger than life situation, larger than life circumstance, and yet you're still finding absolutely those small human moments, those quibbles, those foibles, and that's what truly makes you engage with a film. as I said, it's well shot. It's well, I mean, it's in and around Hamilton. That gives it this sort of almost a bland look, but in a perfectly tuned for this storyline. This is not the guy came from the future and landed in the most exotic location ever. You landed in a place where, you know, this is where maybe the entire world is going to be reshifted when it just takes place in a little cafe. Maybe a cartoonist is going to be the basis for everything that we're worried about. It's not you're not going to the White House. You're not going to political machinations to actually determine how the rest of humanity is actually going to sort of deal with it all. It's going to be something trivial. It's going to be that we think of as dismissing. Characters and people that maybe we think have no consequences could have more consequences than anybody that we expect. And it's that level of the quote unquote deeper meaning in the film that actually sort of gives it this other punch, this that there's a richer philosophy here than might be expected over something that's like inevitably goofy. Again, it only works because of obviously very competent direction, very strong narrative drive, good script, but committed performances by the leads that always know where to thread the needle between being too broad or too subtle. All of that stuff, they just absolutely nail the line, which is great. Somebody can be strident, but you understand where they're coming from. Somebody can be stupid, but you understand that it's out of genuine ignorance rather than the sense of the person's just incompetent. It's this fine line that I think that really sets the film apart and is well worth exploring. So there you go. There's a look at our another film from here, from beautiful Kingston. Here we are with a very cold lake. No more bongs going on, as it were, which, you know, sounds weird, but you understand what I'm saying. Definitely a film festival, as I said, I recommend checking out and giving a chance to. It's been going on for many years, and I've wanted to come here for many years. But this is a town and a city that I actually love very much. It has incredible food, a good place to actually see some stuff, spend some time indoors, and then afterwards go across the street, grab a meatball sandwich, go to one of the amazing restaurants, do whatever it is that makes you happy, and actually engage with this community of film lovers. I think that is definitely worth your time, as is this film. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think. Follow us on social media, and we will see you next movie. Take care. Bye.